Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
On your heart, ready to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for one nation under God, liberty and justice for all. PBK on your heart, Ready, salute. As a GVA student, I promise to be kind to all I say and do, to be safe at all times, to do my best at home, at school, and everywhere I go, because it's the right thing to do.
Awesome.
Good morning, GVA. Mr. Ruley here with the morning announcements for Friday, September 11th, 2020. All right, beginning once again today with This Week in History. This week in history, back in 1850, California became the 31st state officially. Now, I was born and raised in California, and it will always have a special place in my heart. Now, moving on to much more serious news. Back in 2001, an event called 9/11 occurred. Now, it's called this because it happened on September 11th. Now, to briefly summarize, in 2001, airplanes were hijacked and flown into two large skyscrapers in downtown New York and a military building called the Pentagon near Virginia. Now, through this, there were also many helpers and many who worked together and should be celebrated. But almost 3,000 people died in this attack. The reasons why this happened are not simple. But it is a reminder that we should always work toward peace, toward understanding, and respect for each other. So we'll keep that in mind on 9/11 always. All right, moving right along to much happier news here. Let's talk about Spirit Week. I hope you guys have had a wonderful Spirit Week, getting a chance to share a little bit of yourself each day this week. And I wanted to share a little bit of myself. So first of all, here's a drawing I did this week, where I started out with a little doodle and I turned it into a really cool space-aged spaceship. And it's because I love science fiction and fantasy and all that cool stuff. Then I also got some new pens, so I wanted to see what they looked like. So I tried out some circles there just for a little bit of background and interest. Now, my selfie with a pet here involves my best friend, Birdie. She is celebrating her 14th birthday this year, and Birdie has been a big part of our lives for a very long time. So there's my selfie with my pet here. Again, I hope you guys took some good pictures this week, and if you'd like to share them, you're welcome to reach out to Mrs. Delgado through Parent Square, or you can go ahead and email her at a.delgado@greatvalleyacademy.com. All right, for our character focus, I want to talk about a social skill called self-control. Now, self-control is thinking about your actions before you do something. Self-control is a skill we develop through practice, kind of like throwing a ball. It is not something you're born having mastered. It's something you have to work on and practice, and you get better at over time. It is something we all spend our entire lives working on. So again, it's a work in progress for almost everybody. So looking at a few examples of self-control, examples would include waiting your turn. That's showing good self-control. How about thinking first or listening to others? Now, some bad examples, or in the teaching world, we call these non-examples of this, would be grabbing a toy, talking over others, or taking someone's turn. So, a few things to think about when you're thinking about self-control. I always ask myself a few things when thinking about self-control. First of all, will this help? Is it my turn? Or is it kind? Asking yourself questions like this before you act can really help you practice good self-control. So let's work on that today and every day. All right, that's all for me today, folks. I want to remind you always to be kind, have fun, do your best, and of course, read every day. Take good care, everybody.
Hey, it's Mrs. Harrington with Gems from Gems. Today is a special Friday. It's Patriot Day, which is September 11th. And I feel it's very important to recognize and remember that on this day, 9/11/2001, the World Trade Center in New York City the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. and the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. were all targets during an attack on the United States of America. So, Patriot Day. So what's a patriot? A patriot is a person who vigorously supports his or her country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. It's also one who loves and supports his or her country. So I like to think of us as being patriots. All right, so the quote for today is, never forget. And that became popular on 9/11/2001. We just wanted people in the country to remember what happened on that day, but more importantly, who was involved in that day. So, like I said, it means to remember what happened on 9/11/01, but it also means to remember all of the heroes of that day and the days that followed, because it didn't just happen on one day and it was over. It went on for weeks and months, some things for years. So the people that were patriots on that day: firemen, police officers, healthcare workers, and frankly, everyday citizens. People came together from all over the place. But on this 9/11/2020, because of what's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of conflicts going on. There's the COVID problem, people not being in school. There's an election coming, a presidential election, and people are on opposing sides of that. So I think it's especially important on this 9/11/2020 to never forget who came together in those days. People of all different races, ethnicities, religions, socioeconomic groups. They showed their patriotism. They came together. None of these differences seemed to matter. People were just concerned and willing to help each other in any way possible. There was a great sense of pride and community. It was a wonderful sight to see, and it was a wonderful feeling to be remembered. I think back on that day and how prideful and of all the things that were happening, I still had this great sense of not being afraid, but feeling happy and very proud to be an American. So I hope you will take some time to reflect, and maybe if you have a chance, do a little bit of research on this most notable day in our history sometime during the upcoming week. And always remember to never forget. Bye.
Welcome to Minute to Win It, Family Edition. Today we have the Gossip family. Right behind me here we have Kylie. Wait, Kylie. We have Michaela. And in honor of September and all the apples, we are going to do Applestacker, where they must stack 4 apples on top of each other using the bottom part where there are 5 ridges, but they're not all lined up. So let's see if they can do this challenge. Do you think you can do the challenge? All right, are we ready? You guys got a minute. Go! All right, look at them go, stacking away. They are neck and neck. Here we go. It is very hard. Girls are doing great. You got 3. Let's see if she can do it. It's very hard. Girls are doing great. You have 20 seconds left. Let's see. Oh. And we have a winner, Kylie, but Michaela's close behind. Great job, Michaela. Good job, girls.
Hi GVA, this is your Student Assistant Specialist, Miss Justine, back again with another life skill lesson. And today we are going to be talking about delayed gratification. This means to resist the temptation of an immediate reward for a later, more valuable one. So I want to first start off by saying that this doesn't mean that we can't set small goals and we're not able to celebrate the small victories. But what this does mean is that the longer we work hard for something or the longer we wait for something, that reward is going to be a lot more meaningful, and we're able to celebrate and enjoy it a lot longer too. An example I like to give is saving your allowance for a bigger toy rather than buying a small one now. So say your parents give you an allowance weekly. You can, at the end of the week, you can buy a small toy, or you can, buy some snacks, do some fun things with your friends, right? But say you saved up that allowance and waited a month or 2 or 3, then that toy that you get can be ultimately bigger. What if it's that video game that you've been wanting for a long time, or even a skateboard that you've been wanting, or any toy that is a little bit more on the pricey side? When we're able to have that patience and wait a little bit longer, we're able to enjoy that reward because we know we worked hard for it. We know that, we waited a long time to earn this thing, and we had that patience to wait for that reward too. And so I'm going to leave you with a quote from Cinderella. It's "Even miracles take a little time." Again, I want to remind you, don't forget to celebrate the little victories too, and it's okay to have those small rewards every now and then too. But patience is key, and don't ever stop working hard for those big goals that you want in life.